put my glasses on.
What's going on? This is Alpha Kingdom. I have a pleasure to have a friend of mine and a guest. Uh, I kind of know him outside the Passport Brothers, but he's a traveler for show. And I'll let him come in and let him know who he is and what he does. Hold on, let me put him on here. It's my brother Kings and Dreams. Uh-oh. Hold on.
What's going on?
Man, there you go. What's going on, my bro? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate being here.
Cool. So yeah, I see you got the Balenciaga and all that. I see you. Let them know who you are, who you are, and what it is that you do, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I go by the name Kings and Dreams, and I am a YouTube content creator. So what my channel focuses on motivation, lifestyle, and travel. As Afi mentioned, definitely have been traveling for a long time. I've had my passport since I was 3 years old. I just turned 38 the 7th of February. So been traveling, for 35 years. So, and then I talk about, mental health, physical health, and interrelationship dynamics.
So you had your passport since you was 3. What? So are you from somewhere else? What's your origin background?
So I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York City, but my family is from Jamaica, Spanish Town, St. Catherine to be exact.
Jamaica.
Yep. Yeah. So maybe like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour away from Kingston. That's where Spanish Town is.
Oh, okay. How often do you go back home?
Oh, I usually go back home. Like, let's say every 3 to 4 years. I haven't been back since the pandemic. So, but 2024, I'm gonna go back, and then and then this time I'm actually gonna bring my son with me. So my son he'll be 10 next year because he's turning 9 in May. So so I wanted to make sure like that he was old enough where he wasn't like crying and complaining on the plane,
No, that's awesome. So you are for real passport gang, because
Yeah,
I know I for sure wasn't that age. That's what's up though. And then you got your son. He on it early too. So that's a beautiful thing.
absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. How's your experience been going for you as far as YouTube, as far as how you thought it was? Because I always tell people that it's a big difference between when you are a viewer and a producer. You know what I'm saying? Like you can watch a million videos, but when you start doing it and you in the mix, and I already know you in the mix just because of the network and the things that you do, it's a totally different world. Would you agree?
I completely agree. Absolutely. So I started my channel late July of 2021. But when I first started doing it, I was kind of putting out videos like periodically, like every let's say every 3 weeks to a month at a time. And it really wasn't until January of 22 where I really got my behind gear and started remaining consistent, because you definitely have to continue to feed the algorithm. Also, when you are a producer, you have to come up with new titles, new concepts, and things like that. And you have to do, things to kind of make sure that you keep your channel interactive, innovative, entertaining, and then also educational. So you have all of these things tied up in one. And mentioning networking, that helps as well. So you have all of these things that you have to do, and a lot of people make it seem like it's easy, but it's really not easy. And it's not physical labor, but it can be mentally challenging, because you have to put all of these pieces together, and you want to make sure that all of these pieces fit.
I'm glad you said that. Mentally challenged. I always joke and say that creating content is the hardest and easiest and the hardest thing ever I did. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy because you love it, but it's hard because it's you never really know what's gonna pop, and just things that happen, and just relationships fold, just a lot of different things that you got to deal with that You got to be mentally strong, but people don't understand it because they just watch it. They just like, oh, it look like you're having a good fucking time. Like, no, it's so much behind the scenes shit. You know, and especially I know you too because you a networker too, so that's a whole nother vibe that people don't see. Because some people just upload shit, like you know, talk some shit in the bathroom, in the car, 5 minutes, upload. Like, but you actually put together shows is different. But putting on shows is different than uploading. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree because the thing is that when you're putting a show together, especially like for me, like what I like doing is I like I prefer like having like panel style interviews. I like one-on-ones as well. But when you're putting a panel style interview together, like you got different personalities that you're dealing with, right? So you know what I mean. So someone may be more kind of laid back, someone may be kind of more boisterous, and you got to make sure like that all of these things match up, right? And so, perfect example, Unity in the Manosphere with that series, right? So you had lifestyle dating coaches, and then you had strictly brothers who travel, and so there were some agreements and disagreements, like what I would say, like maybe for yourself and Prince O, Prince, shout out to Prince O, like both of you gentlemen
Shout
are
out to him.
active travelers, right? So and I wanted to kind of throw that in the mix because both of you see it from both sides. Like you see it from the game side, and then you also see it from the traveling side. You know what I mean? And so then you have some guys who haven't traveled in a while, and then you have guys who just strictly travel. You know what I mean? So, but it was just an eclectic use of personalities that I wanted to put together, and to me, honestly, I think it came off very well.
Yeah, it is very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And it's just good to like have certain people be amongst each other and stuff like that too, and be in the know of who is who. So it's
Yeah,
always good.
yep, absolutely. It's
You gonna do another one?
I don't know if I'm gonna do. I don't know if I'm gonna do a part four. That's something that I'm thinking about, or what I may do is change up the series. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with that yet. I may just start like a whole new series.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'm thinking likely I'm probably just gonna start a whole new series or something like that. But I mean, there's a lot of content. Things have started to change, if you will, like especially right now, like what's going on with the critics and detachers of men who travel, and some of the woman critics of male travelers, they've said some things about some of the women in different countries, and these women are starting to kind of retaliate. So yeah, so I think that I may start a series kind of based off of that because yeah, so I because I could see something brewing with that, so kind of want to catch that.
Have you felt any backlash from the from the what the heck? Can you hear that?
Yeah. The last thing I heard you say was, did I catch any backlash? But I didn't hear from what though. Hello?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
You didn't hear something start playing?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, maybe it was just on my end. It's like a commercial came on or something. I didn't know if it was on your background or my background or what. It
Oh
just kind of
yeah,
threw me off. Go ahead, bro.
no, I didn't hear anything. A quick
Oh,
question: Are we live? Because I'm trying to share the live, but I can't see.
yeah, no, we not live. We just recording, brother.
Okay. My bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No, it's cool.
yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
have you had any backlash since all the travel bros and all that kind of stuff? When people come trolling you?
Yeah, I mean, people have tried to troll me, but one of the things that I've always made clear is that I've been traveling since I was 3 years old. So this passport bro movement, if you will, like that doesn't, I mean, if you want to throw me in there, that's fine. I mean, I have
Mm-hmm.
no problem. I have no problem being called a passport bro, just as long as you don't try to say like I'm there for sex tourism or things like that. Like that's the thing that I don't like. It's like, no, like I've been traveling abroad since I was 3 years old, so don't try to loop me in that. You know what I mean? And yeah, there's
Yeah, I
some
felt the same way.
I'm sorry.
I felt the same way. I feel you.
Yeah, and there's and there's some brothers, you know what I mean, who hold no bones about it, that they strictly travel for the ladies, you know what I mean, my man, our brother from Oakland, he mentions it, you know what I mean, salute to him,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean, but hey, and I respect his transparency, and I respect anyone else's transparency. My main concern is get there safe, get back safe, and don't mess up when you out there. That's all I care about. You know what I mean? So as long as you're doing that, cool. But when it comes to me, Kings and Dreams specifically, don't try to say that I'm going over there, mongering, because that's not what I do. You know what I mean? I go there to travel, culture, and I was in a relationship for about 3 years with a woman in Medellin, Colombia, and also I have a place in Medellin, Colombia as well.
Oh yeah, how often do you go to your spot over there in Medellin?
So I'm usually there about 6 to 8 times a year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty. That's pretty dope. So when you had your relationship over there, was it did you meet the woman over there? You met her online? Like how did that go about?
So how I met her, I actually met her on Instagram right before, like I was already planning on coming to Medellin, and this is I was going to Medellin for the first time, and
Hmm.
so I was like kind of pipelining, and so for me, as I mentioned, I'm Jamaican, and so like what I try to do is I try to find like a spot that may have like some Jamaican food or some Jamaican, some dance hall music or whatever, catch a vibe,
Hmm.
right? So
Right.
I've actually found this club, and they play hip hop and reggae dance hall. So when I went to their page, like they posted like a flyer for whatever event that they had, and then you can see like who liked it. So I happened to see that my ex, she liked it, and so I ended up just hitting her up, adding her on Instagram. We sparked the conversation. We started talking about music, what type of music she likes. She likes the kind of old school hip hop. Like, I don't want to call it old school, right? But like like our era. Like, I'm 38, and I think you might be a few years older than me. But you know what I mean. So we
Right.
talk like the Mobb Deep, Nas, Biggie, Tupac, Big Pun, old school, like, well, back in the day, E40, you know what I mean? Yellow Wolf, all that stuff, right? So we got into that type of
Go ahead, my bro.
Oh no, yeah, I was just saying that when I went out there to Medellin, like I met her in person, and things kicked off from there.
What other places other than Colombia would you say that you like? What's your top five that you think that you would recommend to other people?
Top five. Colombia, Dominican Republic. But when I say Dominican Republic, I'm talking about like um, Santiago and Santo Domingo area. I would recommend that. Not Sosua anymore. Sosua, I guess, used to be a cool spot, but I don't
What
know
happened
what's
to
going
it?
on. It's just like a lot of problems from what I hear. I've never been to Sosua, but a lot of problems from what I hear have been happening. That's all. Like I just hear a lot of negative feedback from from the brothers who travel. So when they do go to the Dominican Republic, they like now they're starting to go more towards like Santiago and Santo Domingo, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but these are like established travelers. So like if you're like a monger, I would say that stay in the Sosua area, you know, but so Sosua, um, Colombia, Jamaica, of course, Aruba.
I've never been to Aruba. How is
Yeah,
Aruba?
Aruba's really nice,
What?
man. Beautiful, 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 clear water, nice beaches. The food is great. People are very friendly. Bermuda too. The only thing I would say about Bermuda is a bit pricey, but yeah, like if you're looking for like like affordable, Aruba more so than Bermuda, but Bermuda is beautiful too. And trying to think, what's my last one? My last one would be Canada. Um,
Canada.
yeah, Montreal and Toronto. Like during the summertime, yeah, man, definitely. Like especially like so they have this festival in Toronto in August. It's called Caravana, and it's a Caribbean festival, man. I'm telling you, like the vibe is just is beautiful, and like Toronto,
Terry Jama?
yeah,
You said the Terry Jama? Yeah, they
no,
got that
no,
out here.
no, it's called Caravana, but yeah,
Uh-uh.
but yeah, it's a Caribbean festival, so yeah, I think it's similar to the one like in the Bay Area.
Terry Jama, that's what they call it.
Oh, okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, so it's in August out in Toronto, and man, it's nice, man. Like Toronto has beautiful women. I mean, all shades, shape, sizes. You like melanin, you like Indian, you like vanilla, you like butter pecan. You know what I mean? Like it's out there for you, man. And they are just yeah. Canada has some really really beautiful women. I'll actually throw another country in there where a lot of people, maybe not so much on the west, but on the east coast, we definitely overlook it, and that's Mexico because Mexico is so big. Like we tend to overlook it. Like we're so quick to go to the Brazils and the Colombians and the Thailand and the Philippines and I mean, which is cool. I'm not I'm not shaming that at all, obviously, right? Because I'm guilty of it too. But I'm just saying Mexico is so big that like a lot of people, especially on the east, I can't speak for the west, but I know for the East Coast, like we tend to overlook it.
Yeah, I just came from Mexico, and it was nice. It was safe. It's just funny how you read about things and then you just see for yourself. It all just depends on what you want to do. There have been places where I haven't felt safe, but that wasn't one of them.
Right.
It was pretty chill. The people were cool.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of racism, but I mean, in the Bay Area, like I experienced that anyway, so it's a little
Mm,
different, but the people were cool though.
right.
I like that I like that they really are into their history and shit. It's just cool to see how proud they are. Like, even you Jamaican, y'all even had that. Just
Yeah.
to the African Americans, man, we don't have that. Now it's really just looking at that like, damn, we
Yeah.
as a people, we ain't even like that.
Yeah. No,
And
that's oh my fault. Go ahead, brother.
no, go ahead. I was listening to you.
Okay. Yeah. No. What I was gonna say is I'm glad that you mentioned that because like um, outside of the United States, and I don't really know. Maybe I don't really know about Canada too much. I, I would say outside of the United States and or North America rather, outside of North America, like a lot of countries are proud of like their heritage and where they come from. As you mentioned, like Jamaica, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Even in Aruba, Bermuda, you know,
What
and
kind of money? What kind of money do you use in Aruba?
They use U.S. currency.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Hmm. No,
So
I just really seen that place recently, and then you brought it up again today, so it kind of sparked my interest. You feel me?
I see, I see. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. So they use U.S. currency, but yeah. So just going back to what I was just saying, like outside of the United States and Canada, a lot of places are very proud of their culture, where they come from, and
Hmm.
I'll take it there, like where like some people, where some people talk about the men who travel and say like, oh, these women are looking for green cards and stuff like that. Like, I don't think that they realize like that these women are so proud, and these women are extremely important to their families. Now the men will more likely come over here, right? But most women want to stay in their country, because they value family. And I think that one of the reasons why like a lot of the critics can't fathom or don't understand that is because in the States the family culture is not as valued as it is outside of the States. Like, anyone that's been, that's traveled, like, yourself, Prince O, or anyone else who has traveled recently or and frequently, can tell like that a lot of these places outside of the States or outside of the West have these family values. So when they talk about, when, oh, these women are just coming here, liking you for a green card, it's like, no, no, not to say that some, what I mean, but let's just say like out of 100%, maybe 10% may want a green card, but a good 90% of them want to stay in the country, and they're going to want you to relocate to their country, and I think that some of the critics have seen like some TV shows like 90 Day Fiance. Like, yo,
Yeah,
like
well,
that
yeah. I was gonna ask you, what do you think of those shows? Are they accurate? What do you think of those shows, bro? 98 Fiance, like all those little kind of shows like that. What's your opinion? You think it's staged? Are you into those things or what?
I think, well, here's the thing, right? So I'm actually gonna start doing some like reality show breakdowns, but when it
Mm,
comes to 90 Day Fiance, I would say that I would say that, like, I think that it's real. However, what I do think is that the producers stage certain situations, right? So it's real, but the,
mm.
the, the producer manipulates certain situations. So it's real with a twist, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like a real life reaction. The reaction is real, but the stage is set up. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
manipulated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so the producers put people like, in those type of situations. But the thing is like if you go to, Brazil, let's just say, you go to Brazil, like, maybe 1 out of 10 women that you meet want to live in the United States. Most of
Mm,
them want to stay in Brazil. Um, and they want you to, they would want you to live there. And of course, like they want, like, depending on the woman, but like if they don't have a good financial situation, like, yeah, they know like it's going to be a come up, but they're still going to want to remain in Brazil. And as a man, logical man, you want to get more bang for your buck anyway. So why would you want to bring this woman back to the States, where you can live you can live in Brazil, or whatever country, what I mean. I'm just referencing Brazil at this particular point in time, but like you could live in Brazil or Colombia or whatever country that you want to live. It could be a country in Africa, it could be Ghana, it could be Kenya, it could be Ethiopia. Shout out to Zay Smooth. I forgot about him too. Double Edge, Zay
mm.
Double Edge. Yeah, so he lives in
You,
Ethiopia. So
y'all
you
ain't
know
never collaborated, you and Zay?
Oh, of course,
You
yeah,
you
yeah,
ain't think?
yeah, yeah, we collab. Yeah, we collab. We're actually gonna do another collab very soon. Yeah, that's my dude. So that's like the first, um I guess the first hybrid, if you will, like when it comes to like travel, dating coach, that I actually interviewed. So, but yeah, I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
be doing an interview with him again. Yeah. So, but before I put him on the Unity and the Manosphere, I had already interviewed him. So yeah, so he and I have been very cool for a while. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean,
That is dope.
yeah, so I know him, yourself, and also Prince O. I know like the three of y'all can attest, like, you know what I mean? Like, why bring a woman back when you can just stay over there? You get more bang for your buck, you know what I mean? So, you can get a nice, you
Mm.
get a nice apartment or a nice property where you're paying, like 3/4 less than what you would be paying in the States, especially like you live in the Bay Area. The Bay Area is extremely expensive.
Mhm.
So
Extremely expensive. That's why living abroad is so attractive, man. And even I don't know. I say this too. Like sometimes you can like look online and look at properties and be like, "Ooh, what you can get," but it's not the same as actually going to these spots, knowing that you can afford pretty much paradise. It's crazy.
right, yeah,
You
yeah. One of my guys, he has a five bedroom house, beachfront property in Tijuana, and I think he's paying $1,500 a month, and it's 5 bedroom beachfront property just for $1,500 a month.
And if you making money online, it's really a, you know what I'm saying? It's really a benefit then.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like you don't see the thing is that like um especially like when you living in like, prominent cities like New York City, San Francisco, Oakland Bay Area, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on and on, but like typically, like in order for you to live comfortable, you got to be making like, almost, between 65 to 80 grand a year, depending on where you're at. You know what I mean? I would say definitely on the West Coast is definitely more or less like on that 80 side. Even in New York City, you know what I mean? Like it's like 80, 85 side. So, but the thing is that like if you're making, let's just say like you're making about 50 to 55 grand and you're working online, you can live comfortable overseas. But most of the men that I know who travel and who live abroad, like these guys are already making, um like almost six figures, if not like six figures or more. Like I'm in a group on WhatsApp, and like the one of the criteria is that you have to at least be making six figures or more in order to be in this group. And like at least a good 60 to 70% of the men live overseas. So imagine like what kind of bank they're making. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Have you heard anything about Samoa and Fiji? I kind of was been watching the Young Rock, and I kind of intrigued my interest in going over there. What you hear about Samoa and Fiji?
I haven't heard much about Samoa and Fiji, but that does strike me as intriguing. And I haven't seen the show, the Young Rock, yet. I've always wanted to watch that one, but Samoa and Fiji is definitely an island, well, a place. I don't want to disrespect the place, but you know what I mean. But that's the location of where I would like to go and visit. I would like to check that out.
Hmm. I think it's the scenery gonna be beautiful, even if you're not into the women. Just how it looks, just kind of like Colombia. Like I love that forest tree
Mhm.
vibe. That's a preference, I guess. Everybody doesn't appreciate it, but I know that's my kind of thing that I like.
So you like the kind of like Mediterranean vibe?
Like I hate busy stuff now, like going to Paris and stuff like that. I was like, man, I'll never want to come back here again. I'm good.
Right.
But at one point in time I did like that, but you just grow up. Why I wouldn't say you grow out of things. Sometimes things just change,
Yeah.
how you
No.
feel about it.
No, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's true. Like I have my apartment in Medellin right now, and it's more on the busy side. It's definitely more like on the metropolitan type of side, and like I'm thinking that like probably within the next few years, like what I'll likely do is keep that apartment for like Airbnb purposes, but where I would want to live, like I would want to live probably like in like Cali, Colombia, where it's a lot more calm, or Barranquilla, where it's a lot more calm, and then less tourists go there too. So that's what I'm thinking.
Is the money
And
still
then
go the
sometimes,
same, or is it a little more expensive? Does the money
actually,
stretch the same?
actually, Cali is a lot less expensive than Medellin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cali is a lot less expensive than Medellin. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Medellin, you're still not breaking the bank when it comes, compared to the United States. But like, but as far as like currency in the country of Colombia, yeah, Cali is less expensive than Medellin, and Barranquilla is less expensive too.
Mm. Yeah, I had to check out that spot, Cali. I've been hearing a lot about Cali too. It's
Cali's
funny
nice.
how. What's the other
Yeah, and
place in Mexico that people be going to? Tulum. You been to Tulum?
yeah. I've been all through the Quintana Roo area, so Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, Isla Mujeres. So that's like the Quintana Roo. So that's like the state, and then everything that I just mentioned, like those are like the cities.
Mm. How
Yeah.
is
So
Tulum? Is it super touristy now, or is it you know
yeah, yeah.
is it
It's
is it
it's it's
worth it?
touristy. Yeah, I mean it's worth going to visit. It's worth going to visit. A lot of people have like private islands, and it's cool to link up with people. So some people will have like a beach party and stuff like that. You know, it's cool. It's cool to visit. It's definitely something that you can get off your bucket list. I personally wouldn't live there. Like if I was to live anywhere, I would live in Playa del Carmen. Um, Playa del Carmen has kind of like the vibe that I think like both of us would kind of like. Like it has like the city, and then it also has its beaches as well. And it has kind of like that. Also a little bit of a Mediterranean feel too. So you have that in Playa del Carmen, and it has a very big expat community. So most of the people that I've hung out with, like when I was going out there, were expats. So people from like either like Canada, somewhere in Europe, somewhere in the States. Like I met actually met a nice beautiful sister. She's from San Jose. So but yeah, they have a very nice expat community, man, and everyone's really cool there. So, and good vibes, nice club, nice beaches, nice restaurants. So like, if you want that busy vibe, you can get that busy vibe. If you want that quiet vibe, you can also get that quiet vibe too. So it all just depends on like where in Playa del Carmen you want to stay at. So like on one side of town is busy, on the other side of town is quiet. So you can get whatever experience that you want from there. That's one place like where I would recommend if people did want to become an expat, Playa del Carmen, Mexico, for sure.
Let me ask you the obvious. How is it in where you live in Boston? How is that
Boston
for
is
somebody who hasn't been there? I've never been.
yeah. Um, Boston is cool. I mean, it it kind of reminds me a little bit of a mini New York City. Me
Yeah.
me being born, yeah, me being born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and then coming out to Boston about 12 years ago. um, it's it's one of those places where like you get the city feel. um it's more diverse than what I initially thought. When I first came out here, I didn't think it was going to be that diverse, but it actually is. So
Mm.
yeah, so that was good to see, because when I first came out this way, I was just like, oh man, like I feel like I'm gonna stand out like a sore thumb, but it's not as what I thought. So you do see some melanin, you see some Latin, um, and you also have some Cape Verdeans here too. For people who don't know where Cape Verdean is, that's off the coast of continent of Africa, and they speak Portuguese, so they're black. But yeah,
Mm.
they're definitely it's definitely diverse here.
That's crazy. I thought that Boston was racist. I heard that. So it was different for me to hear a black brother saying it was cool. And it just shows with propaganda how it just make you think one thing. You really would just think that, and it's not like that.
Well, I mean, I would say that probably, like, maybe, like it's definitely become more diverse. And I'm sure, like, there's certain, like, there's certain pockets of segregation still, but the thing is that it's I haven't experienced any racism, not outwardly towards me, you know what I mean? So, or people that I've been around. But I'm sure,
Got you.
like 20 years ago, or something like that, you probably saw more. But I think that due to the fact that, like, a lot of people are starting to, like, migrate from different places. You have people migrating from New York City. You know what I mean? Like it's just like New York City is just too expensive. And so when you got gentrification and things like that, like, people start to move around, especially in the East Coast, because, like, the states in the East Coast are a lot smaller than West Coast. So people start to migrate. So like New York City is only like 3.5 hours away from me. You know, so if people got to relocate, like 3.5 hours, and they get a decent job, and they're able to afford to live in Boston, Massachusetts, as opposed to Brooklyn, New York City, or Harlem, or Queens, or Staten Island, on and on and on. Like, they're gonna go to Massachusetts, or they're gonna go south, where they'll go towards the DMV, which is Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia area, or they'll go into the Carolinas. You know what I mean? So basically, what I'm trying to say is that with the gentrification, like, people are moving all over the place. So now, when you have people moving all over the place, you have people mixing races, right? So you have black and white, uh, you
Mhm.
know. So you're starting to see more biracial, and you're starting to see where, like, interracial dating is starting to be more accepted. So the racial tension, especially in this modern day era, has calmed down a lot.
Right. That's cool, man. What would you say, like, are the top three benefits for travel for young black men other than women?
Yeah, absolutely. Other than women, um, culture, finance,
Hmm.
experience. So learning new cultures, being able to being able to understand a culture outside of your own, especially if you're African American, and just truth be told, like there's not much culture here for African American men, right? So when you're going to these different countries, especially countries that have an Afro influence, like Colombia. What a lot of people don't know about Colombia is that Palenque, Colombia, is the first free town of slaves in all of America. So that's North America, Central America, and also South America, right? So you have people that are melanated, that look like me, that look like you black men that are watching. They just are Spanish. And also another thing what people don't know or may not know is that Brazil is the number two country in the world outside the continent of Africa that have the most black people. No, it is not the United States. Brazil is a predominantly black country. Also, how big is Brazil? Brazil, the size of the West Coast to probably half of the Midwest, if not maybe even more. Brazil is extremely huge. Um, so just understanding that culture, right? The experience of different foods, different languages. Understanding different languages is it's very educational. Just really understanding, and then understanding where people come from. And even though you may not necessarily speak the same language, as far as like whether they speak Spanish, English, Portuguese, or what have you, but the thing is, what you have in common is this, and we come from the continent of Africa, so we have that in common. So it's good to understand, your roots your roots to understand where you come from, right? Also, finance. You get more bang for your buck. So let's just say, like, you're a person that makes, 50, about 45, 50, 55,000 annually. You're a single young man. You can invest in some property over there. You can invest in some business. So this way you can grow your portfolio financially and also educationally. You know what I mean? So your job may be paying you 45, 55 annually, but you invest in a small business, and then you have this pocket of business, and then let's just say you make it about 20 grand, so now you're up to 75. Then you start investing in more and more businesses. You start partnering up with people who travel. So next thing you know, you have this business that is making 55, 60K. And then now the job that you did have, you no longer need that job, because now you can travel around and have these own businesses. You don't have any children yet, so you're able to move around and gain more experiences and also obtain more resources. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. You know what I mean? But you have to have the patience, and you have to have the courage, and you have to have the fortitude.
Hmm. Dropping them gems. I got a good question for you, man. And this is kind of earth from Andrew Tate. What do you think about brothers um going overseas to have start families and have kids only? What's your take on that?
Yeah,
So guys just want to have kids over there, and not it just like how Tate says, just take care of the kid and just live your life and not deal with the bullshit in America. So what do you think about that?
I mean, like, so what I would say is that I agree with the overall premise of what Andrew Tate is saying, and his overall premise is saying basically not to have kids in the United States due to the child, um, what do you call it? Um, my goodness, what do you call that? Child
Just the
care, not
loss.
child support. Thank you. Sorry, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, due to the child support laws, and then also the education, in the United States, I think that like if you're able to make more than enough money where the woman can be home and homeschool the child, I think that's what his overall message is, right? So I do agree with it from that standpoint. You know, I'm a little bit indifferent where like he talks about, I guess like kind of going to, have like a child in every continent. I think that may be a bit of a reach, you know what I mean? But the thing is that, to each their own. So I'm indifferent about it. Like I don't agree nor disagree about that. But what I would say is that I agree with his overall premise where it's not necessarily beneficial to have to have children in the United States where you have other people that are typically raising your children for the most part. Like, and I was having this conversation with Mark Daniels, aka Mark Inspiration. Shout out to him, and he was saying that childcare in the United States, I think in the year 2021 or 2022, I think it was 2022, where childcare is 1.4 billion. Like you see how big that business is? Like that's crazy. 1.4 billion dollars. Like I don't think people realize how much money that is. That's a lot of money, right? And so what Andrew is saying is what I get from what he's saying is that have children abroad and be able to afford for the woman to be able to stay at home and raise your child. And I am for that
Yeah.
because for me, like I already have a son. He's gonna be 9 in May, but like my next child is gonna be abroad. It's not gonna be here.
Oh yeah. You already got it set up.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's
what? Go ahead, bro.
My fault. Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna ask, like what's on your 5 bucket list? Because you told me the spots that you like, but what's the places that you want to go? Like
Places.
on the top 5 that you never been.
Ghana.
Trying to do that this year.
Yeah, Ghana for sure. Ghana, Kenya, Croatia, Tokyo, and Australia.
Have you been?
Even though Australia is a continent, but I would say probably like either Sydney, Australia, or Brisbane, Australia.
Mm-hmm. I met a cat in Australia and Vietnam. I'm gonna hook up with him, so I'm going to Australia too. He was a dope cat. We kicked it for like a few days. Matter of fact, after I met him, he was dope. He's in some of my videos too.
Yeah. Nice. Where in Australia? When are you going?
You said when am I gonna go?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe August, something like that.
Man, let me know because I want to roll because I wanted to go like around like July.
To Australia?
Yeah.
Okay. It's another spot I wanted to go. Oh, that's what I was meant to ask you. Have you been to Bali? That's on my bucket list. I was supposed to go. COVID happened and I never did. It's closed for so long. It's open now, but have you been there?
No, like that's on my bucket list too. I want to go to Bali and I also want to check out Dubai just for the experience. I just want to check out Dubai. Shout out to my man Flyboy Way. I was actually supposed to go to Dubai with him. I think he went in like 2015, somewhere around there, and I was supposed to go, but at the time where he was going. It was around my son's birthday, so my son he had just turned 2 at that time. So,
you knew him for a minute then, huh?
Oh yeah, Flyboy and I we went to high school together.
Yeah. And y'all both got
Yeah.
YouTube channels. Did he tell you to? Did he tell you to get it, or is this coincidence?
So okay, so all right, so I thought that you knew my story. So let me just say my story. So this is what ended up happening. So what Flyboy would do is that he would do like a live stream, talking about like the place where he was gonna go, before he traveled, right? So he would do a live stream, and he would show himself like kind of like pipelining, swiping on Tinder or Bumble, whatever the case is, and then like he would have like a conversation. He would add like other content creators to the panel, like who had been to that country, or if they actually live at that country, he would have them on. And so he had me on a couple of panels, and so I was just engaged in the conversation, and one day he just said to me, he was like, "Yo, bro, you need to own a YouTube channel." And I was like, "For real?" And I was like, "Well, I never really thought about it." And he was like, "Nah, you should definitely try it, right?" And so he was just telling me like, think about the things that you want to talk about. And um, so some of the things I wanted to talk about was, like travel, and then like I had, manosphere talking points as well. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me try to see if I can put this together. And so then that's when I started the channel, and I kind of started and as I mentioned earlier, like I was like putting out like videos like every like 3 weeks to a month, and I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. I was like, I'm either gonna do it for real or I'm not gonna do it at all. And then January of
Mm.
2022, that's when I got my behind in gear, and I was like, all right, now we rolling, and so here we are now.
That's dope. What do you have? What plan moving forward? Like, what's next for you?
What's next for me is, just to continue growing my channel. Building up my repertoire. I'm working on building my TikTok now. My Instagram is growing. Continuing that. I just started a Facebook group, so I'm doing that, and then I'm gonna do a members only on YouTube, and then I am going to start my Patreon. So I'm just continuing to build the platform, continuing to network, like-minded individuals, and people don't necessarily have to agree with everything what I'm saying. So what I mean by like-minded, I mean like-minded where people want to build, people want to grow, and people really are, take their content seriously, because I'm someone that takes their content very seriously. So I associate with people who take their content very seriously. So I'm just continuing to grow my platform, and continuing to grind and continue to push, and also continue to travel and continue to educate.
We need the book. What's up with the travel book, brother? We need the travel book or the memoir, bro. You tripping? What's going on with that?
You know what?
I was waiting. I was waiting for it. You didn't say it. I was waiting to hear it.
Well, you know what? So when you say next, I'm thinking about what's in my immediate future, right? So my immediate future, I'm looking at like within like the next 3 to 5 years, right? So I would say, what I just mentioned is in my 3 to 5 years. The book that I would want to do would be within my next 5 to 10 years.
And what would that be on?
That book would be on, my travel experience, and then also with my dating experience. And I just want to make a disclaimer here. I am not a dating coach. I respect what dating coaches do, but the thing is that like I do have a lot of experience to show a lot of men, because a lot of men, and we talk about in the manosphere where it's like, you got to have game, you got to go in the gym, work out. I completely agree with all that. You know what I mean? And I've worked out as well. But what I will say is that like my mind and my mouthpiece, like I've been doing this since I was 14 years old, where I started on what we would call like a street team, which is basically like a promotional team, where we would throw parties. And so um, we have one of my best friends now. He basically put the team together, and he was actually like he's my mentor, and where he would book, he would book the venue, and we had tickets to sell. And this is before Instagram. This is before a Snapchat, a Twitter, Facebook, all of that stuff where people could just post a flyer, and then you really didn't have to like, meet anybody in the street. Like, no. Like this was before all of that. Like, so I had to actually, hand out flyers, put flyers on cars, put flyers like on windows, hang up posters on the poles, sell tickets to people. So there was no online posting. So basically, I had to convince people in order to come to my event. Why is your event going to be so good? You know what I mean? And so with that actually got me over my shyness, because this is when I'm, started when I was 14 years old. I'm 38 now. So, but this was what got me over my shyness, where I was able to, cultivate and network relationships, with my fellow brethren, and then also cultivate, romantic relationship with ladies. Being able to speak to them, cold approach, if you will. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have no problem with that at all. Like, you put me in a room full of women, like, trust me, I'm gonna have them all entertained. So it's all good.
All right, well, let me ask you this: what's your thoughts on settling down, and also, since you about to hit the 40 mark,
Mhm.
what's your thoughts on settling down, or have you already kind of got there mentally? What's your take?
Well, the thing is, so with my ex, I broke up with her August last year, right? And so um, right now, like at some point, I definitely want to settle down. I was planning on settling down with her. Things didn't work out. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I do want to settle down. I believe 40 is still young for
Mm,
sure. Um, Now I'm not opposed to meeting a woman here, but what I will say is that my plan is that once my son does become an adult, I'm living abroad. So whatever woman that I do pick, like, she's going abroad with me. If it's not here, then it's going to be where I'm at. So if I decide to live in Brazil, then I'm going to meet a woman in Brazil or Colombia or whatever, wherever I decide to, you know, um, you know, lay my head, so to speak. But
mm.
I'm not opposed to taking a woman from the states here. It's just that, like, the woman here is just that it's a needle in a haystack of needles. So
Right.
it's a challenge to find. You know what I mean?
I think you'll like Germany, man. The energy there is high. If you like Canada, you'll like Germany. It's a good
Yeah.
spot.
Yep. You know what? Add that to my list. I should have added that to my list. And very interestingly enough, I just interviewed a beautiful black German woman. Well, she's Cameroon and Italian, but she lives in Germany, and she speaks five languages, and I mean, extremely beautiful. She speaks French, her native tongue, Italian, English. um, did I say German already?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay, so wait, French. Okay, her native tongue, French, German, Italian, and English. Yeah, so five languages.
Hmm.
Yep. So yeah, yeah. So Germany's definitely, yeah. So add that to the list.
Mm. And why you don't why you don't you I don't think you should wait 5, 10 years to write your book, man. You got enough knowledge. You can write one now. Why to set up for one? Write some shit now, live your life, and then the new shit that you live, then that's another one.
The reason why is because, like, the reason why is because I still think I have more life to live, right? So
Hmm.
so that's my reason why. So the thing is that when I write this book, like, I want to write this book when I'm retired. My goal is to be retired, fully retired, when I'm 50 years old. By the time I'm 50 years old, rather. So I'm 38 now. So my goal is to be fully retired within 12 years.
That's a good goal, and that's is very feasible, and that's a good one. I like that. Just at that age, because it's still way far in advance than what it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still enough time to really do a lot of things that you need to do and want to do. And I don't know. I'm always think that my life ain't gonna really go until I'm living where I'm gonna be, if that makes sense. So everything now
Yeah.
is like trial, and then
Yeah.
whatever I end up, then that's when things start happening for real.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, very interestingly enough, I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna end up. I do know that like I don't want to live anywhere cold. So Germany's out. Even though like, what I may do is I may do like 6 months. 6 months one place, 6 months another place. But yeah, so I have it narrowed down to a few places of where I would want to retire. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be somewhere in either Latin America or the continent of Africa.
Yeah, Cape Verde's is dope. I heard you say that. Cape Verde's is dope.
Oh, very
That's a
much
dope.
so. Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. And they have, yeah, beautiful woman too, man. Beautiful woman. Yeah,
Things
there's a.
that you'll never get exposed to.
I'm sorry, what happened?
I said it's just funny because if you don't travel, you'll never even be exposed to it because they don't really show you on TV, bro. You
No, they
know?
don't. And no, they don't. And what's interestingly enough, so they have a big Cape Verdean population here in Boston and in Massachusetts in general. And so when I first met and man, I felt so embarrassed. But when I first met this one woman, I ended up talking to her for a few months. And so I was like, where are you from? So she's like, I'm Cape Verdean. I was like, okay. I'm like, yo, where's that? And so she had to show me, but I was like, oh, okay. And they have a very, very big community. So I initially thought that she was Brazilian, but no, she's Cape Verdean. So
I had lunch with Miss West Africa on the flute. I didn't even know it was her until I added her on IG and looked at it like, what the fuck? Didn't
oh
even know.
wow,
Hmm. Obviously, she was bad too, but that wasn't even like the intent. I didn't even know till later.
right,
You know,
yep,
because I mean, how would I assume fucking that? You know.
right, exactly.
Yeah. So man, it's just kind of I can't wait. I can't wait to hit up Ghana though. That's my next spot. Ghana or Tanzania too.
Tanzania, definitely, yeah. So I would say like yeah, for just the continent of Africa, Ghana's number one. Um, I would say Tanzania and Kenya is like 2A, 2B. Then then South Africa is 3. Zimbabwe's 4, and then Nigeria would be 5.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna hit Nigeria up a little later. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'll catch Nigeria on the back end, but Ghana, yeah, like Ghana is the first place in Africa where I want to where I want to go to. I thought it would have been Kenya, but I was doing a lot more research on Ghana, and I do like the fact that like Ghana also like they have like the Caribbean vibes and stuff like that, where like they do like they're very well immersed in the Jamaican culture. So I'm like, yeah, and the Rastafarian. So I'm like, okay, and it makes sense because of their colors, right? So their country, their flag colors. So Ghana's definitely number one. You know, definitely got to check that out. And then 2A, 2B is Tanzania and Kenya. And then 3 is, oh man, where did I say 3 was? I forgot. Oh, 3 is I said 3 is South Africa, but 3 is Zimbabwe, 4 is South Africa, and then 5 would be Nigeria, and then I'll throw in Ethiopia as well.
You familiar with Real Pill Chauvinist? You familiar with him?
I'm not familiar with Chauvinist, no.
Oh, I think you would like chopping it up with him too. He's a travel guy. He's always on my channel, but his channel now is called the Man Channel. He changed it, but if you type in Real Pill, yeah, check him out for sure.
Oh yeah,
he does a lot of travel.
Yeah, I'll
Instagram.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check him out, man, for sure. Definitely will.
Well, shit, I'm let's keep you all night. Let's just tell the people, you know, what to expect and how they can find you and things of that nature. And if you want to drop some gems about anything, go ahead and let them know.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, first of all, man, I just want to thank you for having me on your platform. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, you know, with busy schedules and things like that. Again, shout out to you. Yeah, man, my man Affy is
good chop up.
Yeah, man, my
that was
man,
a good chop up.
Yeah, man, my man Affy is definitely a real one. So, you know, with this, you know, with this conversation, you know, what I would want to say is that just make sure that make sure that men and women, you know, travel, explore. Like there's 190 plus countries in this world, and don't just define yourself to one or two or whatever the case is. You know, travel, explore, get your passport if you're able to travel and get, you know, if you're able to get your passport and travel abroad, travel, explore. As I mentioned, there's 190 plus countries in this world. Here's a stat what most people don't know, and this is very interesting, and it's a sad and shocking stat. So 72% of people in the world only move 250 miles from where they were born. So basically what that means is that like 72% of people in the United States, not in this world, sorry about that. 72% of people in the United States only move 250 miles from where they were born. So that's maybe about what, 4 hours? So 4 to 5 hours, you know, if that from where you were born, where there's 190 plus countries. No, man, I couldn't do that. You need to explore, learn the culture, learn a new language, at least understand a new language, try different foods. You know, explore. You know what I mean? And sure, men, you know, if you end up meeting a quality woman, good for you. Ladies, if you end up meeting a quality man, good for you. But, you know, overall, explore, learn. And the thing is that continue to be the best versions of yourself. Work hard, focus, don't get stuck on the nonsense. You know, continue to push yourself forward. You know, if you are not happy with what you see in the mirror, keep grinding, keep pushing step by step, day by day. Make sure that you are taking care of your mental health, your physical health, and your financial health. Definitely make sure that you are taking care of that, because the thing about it is that only the person in the mirror can take care of you. You understand what I'm saying? Stay purposeful, and I appreciate y'all. As follow me, Kings and Dreams. That's KING with a letter Z, N, and then Dreams with a Z. And that's on YouTube and Instagram, also TikTok, and also on Facebook as well. So definitely make sure that you subscribe, follow, and subscribe. Stay purposeful, and I'm out. Peace.
Cool. Appreciate you, my brother. And as for me, follow me at afi.kingdombooks. Just dropped a few books. I got 2 more coming for you within a week or so. And follow my main one, international.afi. Subscribe, share the video. Peace, y'all. And send you pictures. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, man. Peace.
Peace.